What are the Nuggets' biggest needs according to the front office? This is your Denver Sports Daily for May 29th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
David Adelman took the podium yesterday as the new head coach for the Denver Nuggets, joined alongside Josh Kroenke. They pinpointed some of the biggest things that the Nuggets will have to work on and what they need to get better on next season. And there's a lot of things that they need to work on, of course. You know, 2 back-to-back Game 7 exits in round 2 of the playoffs. That's not great. That's not great. I mean, that happens once, it's bad. That happens twice, it's a tragedy. I mean, come on. They have a lot of things that they need to work on. They've got a lot of things that they need to bring in from a front office standpoint, bringing in some depth, things like that. And they definitely commented on that. Now, there were several topics that Adelman addressed on the agenda. Major needs like organizational cohesion, of course. I mean, we saw the differences between Kevin Booth and Mike Malone and what that did to the team. Developing depth, of course, that's the main topic about the Nuggets throughout the whole regular season, how the Nuggets aren't deep enough. They don't have anything past a 7-man. That's what people say. Now, I'm one to say that the depth could be there if these players are developed right. You got great pieces, Payton Watson, Julian Strawther, Jalen Pickett. Those guys, if they're developed correctly, they can be a good, deep team. And seeming to be most important on the agenda, 3-point shooting. The 3-point shooting for this team was nothing less than terrible this season. Now, the Nuggets shot the least number of threes in the entire league, but it wasn't just about shooting threes. It was about hitting them at the right times. Missing threes comes with the game. That's just the game. That's basketball. You're going to miss. Nobody shoots 100%. Nobody does. You have to make shots when it matters most. And that's what David Adelman said. Quote, when you get those moments, it's not just about making shots during the season. I never look at percentages because that's not real. When you get in those moments, it's about the repetition, the confidence of making shots in those big games. Adelman said that while talking about hitting threes in clutch times. Now, in that quote, he was specifically talking about Julian Strawther and his incredible Game 6 performance in the Western semis. And if you remember that, he was hitting threes when it mattered. And everybody thinks clutch time threes means last 2 minutes of the game. That's not always what it's about. It's about going on a run. It's about when you are getting stops, when you're in that defensive groove where the other team cannot score, capitalizing. Go out and capitalize on it the same way Julian Strawther did in that Game 6. He was running the floor. You're not seeing that from most 7 or 8 men in the league. He's coming away deep off the bench, barely got any playing time through most of the playoffs, and then in Game 6, that was his moment. That's all the game is. It's just about getting hot at the right time, and Julian Strawther proved that. So that's kind of what David Adelman is saying there, at least in my interpretation of it. It's about hitting shots when it matters most, and pulling out Julian Strawther and saying, look at what he did in Game 6 to force a Game 7. That's the best example I could think of. Now, I do think it's fair to say, though, that the Nuggets are one of the clutchest 3-point shooting teams in the league, and this dates back to a long time. I mean, Aaron Gordon, just this year, Aaron Gordon's incredible shot in Game 1 against the Thunder sealed the game. That was a clutch 3. Jokic's turnaround fadeaway in Game 5. And even though the Nuggets lost because MPJ couldn't hit a clutch 3, Jokic extended the game with that crazy Jokic shot. I mean, that's a shot you're only seeing Jokic make. But this, again, extends far back. We've seen players like Monte Morris hit buzzer beater game winners against the Warriors. We've seen Nikola Jokic hit buzzer beater game winners against the Warriors from half court. It's about hitting shots when it matters, and the Nuggets are good at that. They do that well. Just get more consistent with how many times you can actually do it throughout the season and follow that into the postseason. Now, Adelman also spoke on how important this playoffs loss was for some of the young guys on this team, saying, quote, I think the guys are going through some experiences this year that maybe weren't a part of those things the last couple of years. You hope that translates to next season because the trust is going to be there. Now, what I hear when I hear that is hopefully Julian Strawther, Payton Watson, and Jalen Pickett can use this moment like Jokic and Murray did in the 2020 Western Conference Finals loss. That was their boy to men moment. They lost in the Western Conference Finals to the Lakers. What'd they do? They grew. They went out there, they started putting up good fights, lost in a couple more playoffs, but then 3 seasons later, they ended up winning a championship. Strawther, Watson, and Pickett need to use this moment the same way the old Nuggets did and follow that remember this moment and bring it into next season. And hopefully this season or 2 years down the road, they can go back to the finals. Now, moving on, Von Miller just delivered a heartbreaking message to every Broncos fan that wanted to see him don the orange and blue once again. Now, Von was back in Denver doing some charity work, gifting over 80 local children eyeglasses through Von's Vision program. And while he was out, he was asked about a potential return to the Broncos. Miller gave a straightforward answer on that, and one that most Broncos fans, again, most of Broncos country, did not want to hear, saying, quote, "I haven't heard anything, but I mean, if you look at it this year, it really doesn't make sense." Sucks to hear that. It's kind of like a blow to the heart. Feel like I just got stabbed a little bit. Now, as sad as that message is to hear, it's reasonable and realistic. And that's what you got to respect Von Miller for. It's a reasonable and realistic answer. The Broncos have two of some of the best edge rushers in the league right now in Nik Bonitto and Jonathan Cooper. And he definitely made sure to give them their flowers. Miller went on to say they got two really, really good rushers that are the best in the league. And with Jonathan Cooper and Nik Bonitto, they are incredible rushers. Now, Von Miller said that, and then he went on, and the guys underneath them, they come in, they produce sacks too, and they play special teams. So what he's kind of saying there is, I don't want to play special teams. Von Miller isn't at the same peak that he used to be when he was that Super Bowl 50 MVP. So he would definitely be on that special team squad. He's not going out there with Nik Bonitto and Jonathan Cooper. He's not taking one of their spots. So it isn't realistic. It's not reasonable that he comes back to this team. It's sad that it is not going to happen, but you've got to respect his answer. And again, you can't hate that. But it's just so sad to hear that the Super Bowl MVP won't be coming back to Denver anytime soon, if ever at all. Now, moving on, the Rockies continue to make history as they were swept by the Chicago Cubs in their series. Now, the Rockies were swept by the Cubs yesterday, marking their 9th loss of a sweep by a sweep of the season. 9th sweep. You were swept 9 times this season. What's going on with this Rockies team? I can't put my finger on it. They also, though, tied the record for most series lost in a row. Dating back to last year, they have lost 21 series in a row. They just keep losing. It's somehow getting worse for the Rockies. They really cannot catch a break. They're now 9-47. What are the odds that they lose 50 games before they win 10? The odds are good that they lose 50 games before they win 10. They need to win one more game or lose 3 more. They're going to lose 50 games before they lose 10. As a team, they sit 18 spots behind 4th place in the NL West. They are 18 spots behind 4th. Second to worst. They are 18 spots behind. Guess how many spots they're out of 1st? 25. They are 25 games away out of 1st place. And guess what? We are not even close to halfway through the season. They are 25 spots out of 1st place, and they are not even halfway through the season. They're going to lose 130 games this season. I would not be surprised. I kid you not, if they lost 140 games this year. I would not be surprised at all. You can mark it down. You can write it. I'll write it down right now after this show. I'll go write it in my book. The Rockies could lose 140 games this season. At this point, the sell the team comments are getting more and more real. This is the most deserved sell the team I've ever seen in sports history. Now, the Rockies take the field again tomorrow. They are playing the New York Mets. If they win this game, they would put an end to another 5-game loss streak. I can't count how many there's been this season. They would put an end to that, and they would win their 10th game of the season. And I think when they win their 10th game of the season, everybody should throw a party. It should be a party in Denver. The Rockies won 10 games. If this was in the NFL, that'd be a pretty good record. But you are not even halfway through the season. But when you're talking about wins, you are far too long in the season to only have 10 of them. So hopefully the Rockies can go out tomorrow and get a win, get their 10th of the year, their decade win. That would be incredible. And that's all that we can hope for with this team right now, other than hoping that they sell the team. Now, that'll do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow, previewing that huge Rockies game. Need this win tonight. But until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.